Y'all don't shut up. Yeah, hello, anyhow. Yeah, y'all could anyone. And later on in life, Pi, he is brutal. He says, Pi, how come you lied to the rest of China? Yeah, and it was Cheng, yeah, Cheng that Pi granted immortality, Chen, that surname in China. And then he is still there. Zheng finally took the sister. Yeah, Pi murdered off the brother because he hated Hmong Nation. And then later on, the Cantonese revealed Pi, the last owner of eastern side province of China. You gain the south to the west, and then that surname under Zhang is murdered by Chang. Yeah, Chang. Yeah, and that Vietnamese is murdered, and you gain it 2 hours. Pi. Those are the only two legit from Pi. Yeah, the Hakka parents come down. They come down from Thailand, and they admit, yeah, Pi is right. And then the Wei Chinese that Pi are families with and relatives, they come back down to earth and they gut those pretend things. Yeah, that's true. They wrote, in life, we are the original. Yeah, we gained from the 4,000-year-old Chinese immortal who became a god, but him a fool, but him is wealthy, Yoka, and him passed away. And later on in life, like you said, it was horrifying for the Chinese people that didn't understand. Their Cheng father is still there because you granted him immortality. He has skin elixir from Pi. He can verse any human god and lasts almost 90 days. The fucking Malaysian Cantonese version, only 8 minutes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, them are vaporized. 2 hours, look at that. He says 5 sarva equivalent, 6 hours sarva. What the hell is that? And they fought. Yeah, they fought. Yeah, they fought. They knew immediately that was your Wei family. He kept beating it up, and Pai wrote, don't do that or I'll upgrade the Wei. Yeah. And then they'll get, same performance. And right there, Pai, it was you who cut open the lamb, and then the lamb looted Cheng. Pai, yeah, that's fine. His sons are many, so fair, yeah, fair. And then Pai said to the stupid European demon, don't think, yeah, I'll let you live. I am more powerful than the Thais and the Cambodian gods. That's true, yeah, in 4 hours. It is Pi, the four-headed king cobra who grew up in three-head, and then Shiva, the five-headed king cobra goddess. They're still there, and later on, your son from they are not full of it. Yeah, not full of it. He got open two Filipinos and said, pretend. Go home, righteous soul. Yeah, y'all could. We are fighting wars with other human god civilizations, and right there, 2 hours. The fucking idiot didn't believe you. Flew and was murdered by you, and then they didn't see Pi's like African sun god equivalent. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. 3 months, he knew it. You, the progenitor, everybody told, yeah, watch out for on Earth because he is the one that owns the planet, and he not tell you yet. And then right there, the Hound goddess, yeah, from Europe and Egyptian, yet not dare kill Pi. And then there's the ancient hawk from Egypt, not dare kill Pi. And then right there, Jerusalem mother, yep, the remaining mothers and sisters, not dare kill Pi. And three others flew in the opposite direction and shouted, don't dare. Because without they, yep, you have no place to dwell on earth real. Basin. The best fight scene, you looted southern Chinese to the west, and then, yep, you created another government. And it's like Hong Kong. Yeah, it's like Hong Kong. That's when they hate you. Yeah, that's when they hate you. Because right there, the Communist parties didn't tell you it is possible, yep. You see all those Vietnamese malls, yep, in the southern Chinese province, in Vietnamese language, and look at Pi did that in only 3 fucking hours. Fucking dumb ass in the north didn't understand. The Korean mom is murdered by the real nationalists in China, yep, that's true. And they wrote, those are our original seeds, yep, they bred into a nation of gods. And Pi, you said, you, the original Hmong god, the idiot that came down, the cousin, he was spotted in western province and he shouted your name and then he says, where are the women? We take some home too. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. They're nowhere in sight because none are full. Yeah, none are full. Yeah, that's true. The idiot didn't believe you, Pi. You did that because you know that your cousins will come back and loot them and then they'll lie and then they'll kill those. That's true. 2 hours. They did that to Taiwanese. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because he says, in our side of the heaven, you was a new type of woman that bred with God, va? But we not certify you yet. And then right there, he took 5 of them from Canton. That's fine, yeah, that's fine. Cantonese are 9,000 years old. And right there, they knew it to 2025 year. They knew it. They wrote, how can Cantonese and you be so evil? Mandarin's been disabled over and over again because Them are not legit Mandarin. That's true. Yeah, them are clones. And 2 hours later, he is pissed off. He knew it. Yep, our new generations are clones. Pi is the nicer god. And right there, 2 hours in Thailand, the Thai emperor laughed and said, "You don't want Pi? Then we simply kill you. Because Pi has the right like me." Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Because me don't want to talk to him or his grandma, because then my crown would get smashed. That's true. That's true. And right there, by 2 hours, they knew it. Those are the lesser god royalties, because them are not original, and they're only survivors from the war. And Cambodian's the most embarrassing. It was like 940 years ago. 938. Yeah, 938 years ago to 2025 year today. Right there in Fresno, Cali, where you see that lizard buried, that Cantonese lizard demon female, and her devices in the cavern. That's where they lost the magic pillow, the magic bullet, yeah, y'all could, the stone magic missile arrow that they all talked about, the sacred blade. Yeah, that wasn't full of it. They murdered 4 Egyptians, and then they were murdered. Yeah, they were murdered because them came back down in loudmouth. And then Europe was much wealthier. A lot of European goddesses came down. It was much like America, but gods against gods, and then gods coexist, and then norms. Yeah, norms. Right there, buddy. 4 hours. It was 4 fucking hours of him showing off his magic pillar, and then their DNA became decrypted by African sun god, and they destroyed the element, the magic arrow bullet, stone bullet, and right there, real, yeah, real, because it's a pre-rendered weapon. It always nails any god, no matter the speed or dex. That's real. Yeah, that's real. And they did it. And now Cambodia's crap. Yeah, Cambodia's crap. That's true. He can pour it on Earth and use it on Earth, but Alien Grays and Pi come down and loot his DNA, and then he's done. And he brings chunks of it up there and melts away. And melts away. That's true. 2 hours in their magic stone bullet arrow thing, yeah, melts, and he's embarrassing. Yeah, he's embarrassing. He's lucky his eyeballs didn't get sealed all the way. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He was so lucky his eyeballs not sealed all the way. And then every King Cobra, even Pi, spat and said, "Cambodian fool," right there in Fresno. Yeah, you see that amount of red ray there? That is what Egypt used on you. Pi goes there, Pi's buffed differently, and then Pi survived. The pollution from there is still real. Yeah, it's still real. And right there, Pi, she committed suicide. Yep, she committed suicide. She knew it. Her Cambodian man is a nothing at nothing. That's true. 4 hours. Like the boats are running. Lu chia jay yin si danda yin si no more. Coming more. That's your job for better you on the opening which is on the top Cali on that. Lolo top what usual but all no ipassion but lolo 做呢 là chùa là xí lệnh là chùa plau tụ đu ta xí thọ là cừ nè như cái cánh này giá số cho chăng tí ple tụ đu là món này tụ kẹt món này cho con món gì tê là chùa luôn đời ta chỉ là xí đông thế đấy sự ta xí thọ đâu hiệp phải là mất đời ta chỉ lần ta đi chăm một số chỉ giá ta bia xí á là xí chỉ tụ sống tụ đu bây giờ mong được thực hiện con được phải được tụ ninh chùa nè từ cái này mong là coming to that cho đó là tụ have Cambodian hogs bring her back to murder her. Yeah, that's true. And said to her, "You is not our original royalty. Yep, Yoku. And you think you're wise in the Pies group? Who knows the grandmother that's 438,000-year-old? Yep, Yoku. To 2025-year-old. Her is the princess. Yep, the hawk princess from Cambodia. The head of a hawk, the torso of a woman. And that is the only woman that didn't tell him that ties are her third husband. And they fail. Yep, her gut them too. And that's what happened to Vit. Her first husband was gutted, second was in Hoggen, third was a Thai, and they disappeared from planet. They go back and forth. Those are progenitor aliens. And 3 hours, Pi, you, the nicer version, yeah, you, the nicer version, Pi. It was her spat in Malaysia and says, "Sister Malay, your grandmother has been dead for 6,000 years. What are your human immortals up to?" And those grandparent demons, yeah, horn demons, in 2 hours, they butchered a bunch of them, said, "Come back down, we need to certify a few." And then later on you certify them. Yeah, yes, we do. It was 9 hours of single port King Cobra coming down laughing his head off. Yeah, that's true. He says, "If you think you're smarter than Pi and Shiva, you are the stupid." Yeah, you is the stupid. Yeah. Basil mong nu kiang go na Malay does Malay to King Cobra Talona. Come on, yeah, Pi murdered him. Yeah, Pi murdered him. Because in reality, can you have a King Cobra that's Malaysian? No, yeah, because the white ancestry murdered the original princess 6,000 years ago. So all UFOs have to go land in the sector to go to the new space country, and they cannot. Yeah, be all good. And so it is a liar. It is a liar. That's real. 2 hours, Pi gutted him. Yeah, Pi gutted him. And Pi said, now you know, me is old. Me is respected like five-sided stars, stupid scum. New light skin scum. And Pi, you flew around in 2 hours. They cry, Pi. They cry, Pi. It was there. He knew it. I said, you think me not those? They robbed my ancestry, and then they raped my woman, and then those little gals were so well fucked by African they broke their fingers and came back down in Malaysia, and those are shameless but allowed to live, and they're so embarrassing every human God gave back their sector. That's true. And then Pi wrote, best not do that, because Pa'll enter and Pa'll kill you. That's true, that's true. If you're a real King Cobra, Pa'll steal your tail, Cobra, and then fly into your space country. That is the key, elixir, to your space country. That's true, yeah, that's true. Pa'll fly in, standing on the King Cobra, the God Delta demon, yep, animal demon, and then Pa'll fly in, and then Pa'll fly in, and Pa'll got you, Pa'll got you real, Pa'll tell you that's why Pi made fun of you. Every King Cobra knew it. You're there, Pa'll show you Pi have full authority because Pi's an older generation. Pi didn't see you anything good on Earth. That's true. 5 hours, Pi said. The fucking shit didn't believe you. Saw you did that twice in Malaysia. Yep, Pi do that in Malaysia too. And then Pi told you. Because Pi's lying to you. Pi has Malaysian DNA and Burmese, and Pi's lying to you. Because Pi is an older generation of God. And then Pi is also a mix of weird European DNA. And then Pi didn't tell you, Yoku. Pi murdered off the Iceland. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Those are Pi's white egg mommies. And Pi hated them too. That's true. Which ball the kid things too. Mong my little da so Pi which ball 253. The Egyptian laughed so hard he flew off. And he says, Pi, you said, can you believe it? Hound dog goddess and you similar? Yeah, similar. That's true. They didn't even tell you it was so muddy. They didn't dare, yeah. And Pai said, when you're done gutting them in Southeast Asia, she thought that was funny. 4 hours. Yeah, then wet. And they wrote, the God, the yellow God or goddess comes out and says, yeah, factual data. Yeah, that's factual news from history on Earth. And right there, she committed suicide right there in Laos and said, Yokosai va pai da kona, John the baker, bay coming. To Paul coming is done, to Paul da for time the they done a little was watching. That is the truth. Yep, the Cambodian hawk goddess come down, the empress. Them are murdered. Yeah, them are murdered. Unless they can summon the 470,000-year-old grandparents, and then, yep, they verse. Yeah, they verse, and they settle things. Right there, boy, you won. Yeah, you won. Right there, they made fun of you. He says, how come you didn't care? Because Pi didn't care. Yeah, Pi didn't care. Pi's progenitor, King Cobra, is 363,000 years old, 700 to 2025 a year. And those upper human, leg, tail, Cobra, and right there, they knew it. That's Pi's real landlord. Pi is another old cold King Cobra, so Pi looted they, and then, broke norms and became the true King Cobra. And right there, Pi, you looted him, you put on his eyeball elixir, and the stone appears in your right arm. That's true. And then Pi told him, an ancient dragon god, that is norm, because our human gods never created you. You is an experiment from one of those wild nuts from Burma and Cambodia. And really, Cambodia. And so what we not tell the animal lover is that it is not really a human god, but an animal lover. And right there you laugh, a sickling, and you flew off. That's true. 3 fucking hours. 5 stars start one go. 3 one đầu人one đầu. Này thì có giờ cho vô chúa hệ bài là hải nam mà yam what ching. You is the perverted sickling. Yeah, that's true. And then Pi told you. That's why human gods made fun of you, Cambodia. But that is how you live. Respect your grandpa now. Yeah, that's true. Because by theft from him, and the Pi guaranteed all human gods, yellow, survive up there in the heavens in black space. That's 100% all that's noise. Later on in life, it was 2 hours of Malaysia sneaking back down, and he is butchered because he's only a Burmese bootleg. and then you came down, you caught them, you murdered them, and then 2 hours, the king cobras came down and you murdered them until one spoke a language that you know, and you spat. You said, fuck it, my grandmother is you too, y'all good. But I tossed it, but I said, yeah, I can't kill you because I know that space station is me too. And you flew around it. And the 9 hours part, it was you and 3 other kings that began. You survived. The other 3 are murdered by you. Pi, yeah, that's true. And then Pi lies to them. They were not progenitor. They were weakling. Pi is the only one that theft from Persian one. That's true. Which one did you do, Pi? The whole big, that you theft from Persian, Celtic, and you survived 2 fucking hours of the fucking shit screaming, and they didn't see you theft from Goetic demons to, and you won by, and the fucking shit screaming in this fucking country committed suicide. Yeah, that's true. And then the ex-Goldrake has all of Bellum's old elixir and devices and matching performance, and he was on Pi's Facebook too. That's true. Yeah, that's an ex-Goldrake spirit. He is also still in the Pi's group. That's true. Yeah, that's true. When he's there, and then Pi not tell you why Pi didn't keep him. He was a powerful grandpa spirit, and he lies to them. When he and the other one comes down to play, they murder immortals. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they murder human immortals, and then they murder kings and gods. In 2 hours, he didn't believe it. It was that grandparent said, no, me hate you. I don't see my Europeans. And he kept gutting them. Yeah, normal. Which, well, yeah, Pi's off. Yeah, Pi's off. Because Pi not tell you. It hasn't broken a norm yet. Yeah, y'all could. And later on, Pi, it was too graphic to talk about. Faye is allowed to gut it and loot it. But later on, your knights got it. Yeah, knights are allowed to. Yeah, that's true. They lied to you, Pi. It was you. They murdered 14,000 of the King Cobras. Pi, that's true. It was that same male spirit that pulled out the magic wand, an older version. The magic wand on the right hand, he kept smashing their head to their chest, and he melted them. Real, yeah, real. That's the only one Pi imitated his magic, and one that's true, yeah, his sorcery. 3 others didn't see that magic wand can kill any human god. That's true. And they lie to you, Pi. They say, how come you didn't want to pour the precise? Pi wrote, why pour the precise? That metal, yeah, that chemical plastic form works, and that's true. Never do the precise, because you'll die. Yeah, you'll die. Yeah, you'll die. Because they'll render it, and then you'll turn to ooze, and right there, when they're done rendering firewall all the sticks, yep, you'll melt. Yeah, that's true. Right there, buddy, look at him. He cries because you cloned it, and the 9 hours of him screaming, he punched his stupid Persian and said, I'm European, you stupid pig. Fucking Middle East. You're only a goetic demon design, and not to mention your grandpa came down to die. Real, yep, the 7 million-year-old. He is not Allah. He is the unholy version. In 3 hours, boom! It was fight after fight. Them knew it. Them are from that disgusting man in the Book of Law. That's true. Yeah, that's right. In the 3 hours, he thought he was holy. 2 fucking sinners laughed and said, if we was Allah, where would we hide? You know what? There's none of him left. That's true. Yeah, that's true. The Israeli themselves, was they Allah? No. They were in fact Baal. Yeah, they were in fact Baal. That's true. Pi's Persian demons, their mom and dad's DNA are in fact what I was. Accurate. Yep, I kept their exception. That's true. And later on, they didn't believe you. Like 2 fucking hours, he knew it. Even your holy Persians, yep, are from I was, and then Pi murdered I was on Earth too, and that's why Pi. 2 fucking graphic grandparents kept gutting them, said, is we not Persian? And these are you, and these are Hebrew, and Pi bred with one of our women. Yeah, normal, yeah, normal. That's fine, yeah, that's fine. And later on, though, it was Pi. They wrote down the Hebrew alphabet, and then you knew Pi. That was much like English, even used by evil Iranian gods. And then you knew it, Pi. Evil Saudi and Iran, both pirates. That's true, yeah, that's true. The best pirates are Iran and Saudi. Islam, when Pi caught them, they came clean. Yep, that's true. And that's why Pi didn't tell you. Pi has a goat demon from European. He shouted all the real goat demons arrived. They went up there and then enslaved those. Pi abnormal. Because in Pi's side of the heaven, it is the grandpa demon that is the owner. That's 100% of all those knives. And right there, them are enslaved. Yeah, them enslaved. Basil one of my enslaved. And then he laughed for 9 hours. And he said, I can't believe it. Those used to be my idols. Yeah, that's true. But they broke the law. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Pi, it was 9 hours of you enslaving Islam, and then Israel showed up, and he says, "Here, God, va, this is your fucking crappy Israel." And he kept chopping it up, and he says, "That is Goetic. You is Hmong.